Welcome back to Nothing But Nets. We are back, and I am joined with a special guest, Demand from We Talk Hawks. We Talk Hawks TV on YouTube. The Nets have the Hawks opening day in Atlanta, so I wanted to get his reaction, his thoughts on that matchup, and how excited he was when he saw the Hawks getting to beat up on the Nets the first game of the season. So, Demand, introduce yourself, tell everyone where they can find you, and then give us your thoughts on getting the Nets the first game of the season.
Hey, what's up, everybody? First of all, let me go ahead and thank Gary for having me on his show right now, man. I appreciate you having me on your platform. I'm your boy Damon from We Talk Hawks TV. You can find us on YouTube, We Talk Hawks TV. We are an interactive fan channel. We're a fan channel for fans of the Atlanta Hawks, a place where I like to call it a safe space where you could come as a Hawks fan, come voice your opinion. It's an open panel show, so we encourage all Atlanta Hawk fans. You watch the game, didn't watch the game. You want to talk about the trade? You can't get on 92.9 the game. You don't have nobody else to talk to. Come to We Talk Hawks. It's where the fans can voice their opinion and be heard.
So you got the blessings of getting the Nets in your building the first game of the season. Just to go over your lineup, I want to make sure I have this right. It is tentatively the starting lineup: Ice Trey, Bogdan, and we were working on this. Zachary Rishisei.
Yep.
Rishisei. First overall pick in the draft. Jalen Johnson, Clint Capella. Is that tentatively what you expect to see as the Hawks starting lineup?
Nah, I expect to see Trey. It's a toss-up between Dyson Daniels and Kobe Buffkin as the shooting guard. Probably looking at Dre Hunter to start. If not, if he's gonna continue to come off the bench, probably gonna be Zach. So Trey, Kobe Buffkin / Dyson Daniels. I'm unsure right there, the shooting guard. Small forward, Richardson. Power forward, Jalen Johnson. Center, probably going to be another year of Clint Capella, but I don't expect him. I expect Clint and Double O's minutes to almost mirror each other.
When you look at that team, and then Larry Nance Jr., obviously he's coming off the bench at least to start the season. Yeah, the Hawks roster, you look at the teams that are going to be competing for those play-ins, right? And you look at the Hawks roster, and it's really not that bad. It's actually pretty good. You got Trey, you got the rookie. Jalen Johnson, I thought probably should have been most improved player of the year last year. He really developed, and he got an outside touch too. He started shooting the long ball. He was really, really good. He's an excellent rebounder. And then Capella, who's a veteran. You compare that to the Nets starting lineup, which is likely, and I don't know what we're doing with Simmons, but my assumption is the Nets starting lineup is going to be Schroeder at the point, Cam Thomas at the 2, Cam Johnson at the 3, Dorian Finney-Smith at the 4, and Claxton at the 5. For now, until Cam and Finney-Smith get traded, which may happen sooner or later. But clearly, your lineup is much better. And, it's kind of defeating to a Nets fan because, you're looking at the Hawks and you're like, those are the teams that we're going to be competing for the play-in. So I guess we really can't compete. You look at the Nets lineup, the one I just kind of went over, putting Ben Simmons to the side for now. What's your thoughts on the Nets starting five? And you can be brutally honest. We're Nets fans. We know the season's not going to go well.
What I expect is when y'all traded Bridges, in my head, I'm like, the Nets are trying to start all the way over. So when I look at y'all lineup, I think Cam Johnson is a solid piece to have. Dorian Finney-Smith, I expect him probably to be traded, especially at the deadline. So, Nets get to the deadline and y'all probably going to be below under 500. I expect a contender, especially if Finney-Smith shooting a good, even if he's shooting like league average from 3, I expect a contender coming in throwing a first round pick y'all way trying to take them off your hands, help them on a playoff push. I think the Nets are valuing high draft picks, especially if you can get another pick in this loaded 25 draft. But I really think that y'all are just, and I hate to say it, but just tanking. Now, I was shocked that y'all re-signed Claxton. I was really thinking y'all was going to move him, very skilled young big, but maybe the Nets, and obviously you could tell me better than anybody, maybe the Nets see Claxton, Cam Thomas, and Cam Johnson as, the young core to build around. Finney Smith, older player, but so like I said, I expected him to be moved no later than the trade deadline. Because I mean, there's really no reason for y'all to keep a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith, especially if you're not competing for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Finney-Smith is over 30 years old now, isn't he?
He's like 31, 32. Yeah.
So he does. His timeline is not aligned with what the Nets want to do, in my opinion, and with what with the young players that I have with Cam Thomas and Cam Johnson. So Dennis Schroeder, young Hawks legend. We drafted him out of Germany, and but I like Dennis. But for some reason, to me, Dennis is better when he's playing FIBA than he's playing NBA. When he playing FIBA, he's like a whole different person, a whole different player, But I really see y'all being at the bottom. I don't expect y'all to make the playoffs. Probably because I got us between the 8 to 10 seed right now. I got us 8 to 10 seed. So obviously I got y'all finishing down under us. But once y'all move Bridges, that looks like the way y'all want to go anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was well, first let me address the Claxton thing, because it's a good question, right?
Yeah.
I think that Claxton is a guy they drafted in the second round. He's been a great net. He started off playing very limited minutes and more of a 4. Then he became the starting center. His contract is reasonable. He's making about $24 million a year, which is not a ton of money by today's standards. He's a fan favorite. He's 25 years old, so he kind of fits in the time frame of the rebuild. Like, the hope is obviously to get Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey or something like that in this draft. They got 4 first-round picks this year, 6 total picks in the first round, and they're probably going to hopefully add another first-round pick when they do trade Dorian Finney-Smith.
Right.
So my guess is that Cam Thomas and Claxton are going to be here. You also mentioned Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson's already 28 years old. I think he fits in better with a team that can compete. Like, I'm looking at Orlando as a possible suitor, but there are other teams. The Lakers have shown interest in him. I think you move him to a contender at the deadline. So I think by the deadline, both Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson are elsewhere. Cam Johnson is on a decent contract. Finney-Smith's on a great contract. Finney-Smith is only making $15 million a year. And if you're asking, like most Net fans, DFS and Cam Johnson, the DFS is the more valuable player than Cam Johnson. So I definitely expect Dorian Finney-Smith to be moved. Cam Johnson's going to be a little bit more difficult to move because he is making a lot more. He's making $25 million a year.
And he got in his contract long. He just signed that, didn't he?
He's got it's his second year. He's got 2 more years on it. So
and those contenders.
No, he's got 3 years left on it. Last year was the first. He's got 3 years on it. Yeah,
I don't really think y'all gonna move him this year. Because the second apron teams, they not that second apron. They scaring these contending teams, man. So with that now, if Cam Johnson had 1 year left on the deal, maybe 2, you could probably move him. But if my team is sitting close to the second apron or at it, I don't want to take on that long money. You know what I'm saying?
Not for Cam Johnson. Yeah, I'm not. Right. So the issue is, okay, do I then take on a bad contract, like an expiring bad contract, to move him?
Yeah.
How bad do you want to move him? What would I be willing to do a 3-way trade where I take on Lonzo Ball's contract or Zach LaVine's contract, right? A player with upside who hasn't been healthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difficult question, right? Because the Bulls wouldn't trade for Cam Johnson, but in a 3-way where, I take on Lonzo Ball's expiring contract, Orlando gets Cam Johnson, and the Bulls get draft capital, right? It kind of works for everyone.
Yeah.
I get a salary dump. Orlando gets a shooter, which they need, and the Bulls get draft picks. So, I mean, would I be willing to do something like that just to kind of get rid of Cam Johnson's contract? I don't know how the Nets view him. They gave him the big contract last year. So, right. I mean, they think, I'll say this, Sean Marks and the Nets think more of Cam Johnson than you and I do. I'll say that, right? So, I don't know. I do think they're going to move Cam Johnson by the deadline. I don't know if they're going to get what they want in return. Like, they may have to settle for a expiring contract and a second-round pick. Like, that might be...
I mean, maybe they, like I was saying earlier, maybe they view him as part of the core, right?
That's possible, yeah.
Maybe they say, you know what, this year, let's see what Cam Johnson give us in an expanded role. Instead of just having him just being a 3-and-D, let's see what else can he do. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, y'all not competing for a championship this year anyway. You're on a race for Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
So this is the year where you want to see, hey, Cam Johnson, you good at shooting a 3. You good at this. We want to do some. We want to do this with you now. Let's see what we can get. If we let's give you 20 shots tonight. Let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Just ain't that like you're gonna do with Cam Thomas. Let's see what he gonna do now. Now you don't have
Bridges is gone.
Yeah, now you don't have Bridges. Now you're gonna be you're the guy, Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson. Now you're the 2. You my second option guy. Let's see what we got now. So I think that's what's gonna happen. But like I said, with that contract, I think that's going to be the major issue if you do try to move Cam Johnson. Would I move him if I'm the Nets? I wouldn't move him. I wouldn't move him. I would hold him. You know what I'm saying? He not breaking y'all pockets.
No, he's not breaking our pocket. I mean, he's not. Like I said, he's 28, which isn't old, but it's not super young either. Like, does he fit the rebuild, right? Because the Nets are going to be bad for at least 2 years.
Right.
By the time the Nets get better, he's going to be into his 30s now. Is that something that the Nets want to entertain? Like, is Cam Johnson going to be here long term? I don't know how they view him. I would, if I could move him, I would look to move him. I don't know if they're going to be able to, but you're right. He's going to be the number 2 scoring option, right? Like, it's Cam Thomas and Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
So he's going to get an opportunity to shine here. Hopefully he plays well, and then you got a good problem, right? If he plays well, if he's averaging 20 points a night on efficient shooting, you can either keep him because he's playing well, or he'll have more trade value and you could trade him. But he's got to show he's 6'9" and he plays like he's 6'5", right? And he's a solid wing defender and a catch and shoot guy. And he's never really developed into anything more than just a catch and shoot guy. Now, like,
but see, is that the role he's been given?
That's true too.
And that's why I was saying. And that's why I was saying this year, instead of saying, "Hey, you're gonna still catch and shoot," but some nights, guess what? Now we want to see what else you can do. I'm sure him being the NBA player, he can do more than catch and shoot. But like I tell people, it's all about your opportunity and the role that's given to you by the organization. Now he don't have nobody there besides Cam Johnson. Besides Cam Thomas. As for who could score the ball like him. What if Cam Thomas get injured? Maybe he missed a couple games here and there. Now you're the number 1 option. So I think, like I said, you're going to really see what you can get out of this guy. And depending on how he performs, is going to determine what y'all do. Do I think y'all move him this year at the deadline? I don't think that's going to happen due to his contract, the long money that he got on it. These contenders not going to try to take. They don't want to take back that long money. So maybe next year, but like I was saying, or like you just said, What if he does have a good year and he giving you, I don't know, let's say something realistic. Let's say he come out career year, he giving you 22 and a half a night, right? On let's say 40, let's say
45, 40 shooting.
Yeah. That's something you can build with. Because guess what?
Yeah.
What if you do luck up and you get Cooper Flag? Now you just slide Cooper in there now. Hey, now you got Cooper Flag, Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson. You got 3 people who can score the basketball. So now, and you still got Nick Claxton. So that's your core right there. And I know you mentioned his age, but one thing that I see sometimes on teams that rebuild, sometimes they don't have active veterans. They'll go get veterans who don't play and sit on the bench and rah. But you can look at Cam Johnson as an active veteran. You know what I'm saying? Been on the team for a minute, been in the league for a while, but he's also one of your key players. So, me personally, I wouldn't trade him. You know what I'm saying? Not just for like a salary dump. I wouldn't trade him because they're gonna lowball you. Teams gonna lowball you anyway.
For sure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna offer you an expiring contract, right? So I'm basically gonna take Cam to get an expiring bad contract, which, yeah, he probably has more value than that. I wanted, and the other question you asked me was, you wanted my thoughts on the Bridges trade, correct?
Yeah, like my question is thoughts on the Bridges trade, that the return you got from the Knicks. But the follow-on question is why you didn't take the Rockets trade, because the word on the street, and you can let me know, word on the street was the Rockets was trying to give you all your own picks back, and I think they was trying to give you Jalen Green at one point. Now, Jalen Green a monster now, man. That dude athletically, like his whole body just one big fast twitch muscle, man. Like jump fast. And when I heard y'all turned that down, I was like, wow.
So, yeah. So they ended up making a trade with Houston. They got their 25 and 26 picks back, and they gave the Rockets the Suns picks they got in the Durant trade. So they ended up getting 2 of those picks back from Harden in 25 and 26.
Okay.
So that put them in good shape. They made that trade about a half hour after they made the Bridges trade. So they kind of worked together. The trade that Houston offered about the deadline last year was all of their picks back. So it was basically 3 picks plus Jalen Green. Then Jalen Green got cooking down the stretch of last year, and he kind of really turned into the player that they thought he could be. I will never ever forgive Sean Marks. Let me hang on 1 second.
Yeah.
So Jalen Green, he started panning into the player that Houston thought he was. And he really got going, and he got cooking the second half of last year. That trade that Houston initially offered, which was all 3 of the picks back and Jalen Green, that the Nets for Bridges, that the Nets turned down, which I'll never forgive Sean Marks for that, because he should have made that sight unseen.
Yeah.
You're getting back an all-star caliber player, or what could become an all-star caliber, and your picks back. Like, just say yes. Just shake his hand and say yes. And he turned it down because he viewed it as rebuilding, and he didn't want to rebuild. He still thought the Nets roster last year was good enough where they could be better than the Hawks, they could be better than the Bulls, and they could compete for that playoff spot. They weren't. He went back to Houston after the season to try to make that deal. And Houston was like, nah, dog, that ship has sailed. So now Marks had the Nets in a position. It's like, we're not good enough to make the play in. And we're not bad enough where we're going to be the worst team in the league with Bridges. Mm-hmm. So, like, we can try to trade our picks for DeJounte Murray, or we can try to trade our picks for Brandon Ingram, or what was some of the other names they took? Garland was another name they talked about. Mm-hmm. And we could try to be an 8 seed. what does that do for us? It's like you're going to trade away all your picks again to be to be an 8 seed. Is that really what you want to do?
Right.
Or we can just trade Bridges and tear the whole thing down. And I think when the Knicks came calling and said, I'll give you what amounts to 6 first-round picks, 5 and a swap, I think the deal was too sweet. I was like, okay, we get our picks back with this Houston trade, and now we can tank. So I think the combination of the 2 trades, I'll give my 3 Phoenix picks to Houston to get my 2 picks back, plus I get 6 picks from the Knicks. I can rebuild my team now. Right. So I think that the combination, I think each trade individually isn't great for the Nets, but getting them all together, because now the Nets can tank, and they they own their picks. They have their picks back.
Right.
Plus, I have the Knicks picks. Now, the Knicks picks, like this year, they get 2 first rounders from the Knicks. They get the Knicks pick and Milwaukee's pick through the Knicks. Those probably ain't going to be great picks, right? Like, those are going to be 25, 27, 28. But they're still first rounders. And there are good players taken in the first round. But now I have the Knicks picks all the way through 2031. So the Knicks are going to be bad again at some point. And when they are, I got their pick. So I like the way the Bridges trade turned out, especially when you consider they were able to get their picks back for this year and next from Houston.
Well, I would say that Sean Marks, he got lucky, man.
He did get lucky.
He did.
He did.
He got lucky because what if, and I'm trying to think, what if the Knicks never come calling for Mikal Bridges?
They had other offers. They weren't nearly as good. Sacramento had offered him a couple first rounders. Memphis, I think, was the other team.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying that's why I was saying Sean Marks got lucky. And that's what happens when that's why I don't like when front offices come out and just lie to the fans. Like, you can't sit here and tell us this roster can compete when we sitting here fighting for the 10th spot in the conference. You can't look me in my eyes and say, you know what, guys, I don't want to make this move because we feel this roster. What does our record say? Your record is who you are. You know, you earn that record. Regardless of what it says, y'all went out there and you played and you earned that record. So you can't fool me. It's the same. We're almost in the same predicament, right? Me, myself, and it's gonna be a lot of Hawk fans that disagree with me. I believe we're rebuilding. We're just rebuilding on the fly. We can't fully tank because the Spurs own our first round picks that's unprotected. So, but if you ask Hawk fans what their starting roster wants, their starting lineup should be, there are a lot of them going to tell you players, and all the players are young. So when you telling me Zach Richardson, Dyson Daniels, who's 21, Richardson, I think he just turned 20, Kobe Buffkin, who this is year 3, like, that's a bunch of young players. Trae Young is our longest served tenured Hawk right now. So I know what they're doing. They're really rebuilding with young talent. We just can't tank like y'all can because we don't own our picks. But you saw when we traded Murray, we ended up getting that Laker unprotected pick too for 25. So
you got 2 picks in that, right? You got a 25 and a 27 pick in that?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then we also own we got Sacramento pick too, so we need them to make the playoffs.
Oh, is it lottery protected?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they should. The West is tough because Memphis is going to compete again for the playoffs, but Sacramento's a good team, so I would imagine that's they'll make the playoffs. I want to ask you about first the Murray trade. Like, first, your thoughts on Murray. I like Murray a lot. I don't think it was a great fit for him in Atlanta, playing with Young. But what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts with on Murray as a player and his time with Atlanta? And then what were your thoughts when that trade happened?
I enjoyed Murray as a player. I think that excuse me. I think that a lot of fans didn't do their research. Well, I know our front office didn't do the research because nobody in their right basketball mind would say, let's go trade for another point guard and put 2 point guards beside each other so we can be undersized at the point guard position and the shooting guard position. That makes no sense. Even though the smartest dude in the room who we fired, well, technically he quit, but who we fired told the Hawks, don't do the deal. You're overpaying, but they did it anyway, and that's why we're in this position. DeJounte Murray, to me, man, Murray is a dog, bro. He a dog. He's loyal. I like that about Murray. Murray will stand up for your team, stand up for the team. He makes sure that when you get these young players, when he got to Atlanta, every rookie we drafted, Murray done reached out to him. On the social media, you see Murray with the young players. So he very loyal. I was hoping it panned out, but it didn't. And I mean, the numbers said it didn't work, man. We was positive everything when only one of them was on the court. Even when Trey got hurt, Trey went down like February like 27th, I think, something like that. And Murray led. If it wasn't for Murray, we wouldn't even make the play-in. So and he had what? I think Murray had 3 game winners last year. Led us on a 20-point comeback when we beat the Celtics twice in 1 week. That game winner against the Magic. So we had some moments with Murray, man. Now the trade, I can't even be mad at the return. I knew we wasn't gonna get. I was hoping we could get an all-star player in return. I knew that probably wasn't gonna happen, but me, I'm reaching for the stars. You got to tell me no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do like when we first made the deal, I was kind of thrown off at first. I was like, Dyson Daniels, let me look this guy up. But luckily, my young Hawk fans, they all into the younger players, so they was telling me, hey, Damon, hey, he's a good guy. He's a great defender. Blah blah blah. His shooting is awful, right? But what did he shoot? I think he shot like 29% from 3 last year. He a 64% free throw shooter. Which that was discouraging. But once again, I can't, even though I'm not Quinn Snyder, but I got to give credit where it's due. Jalen Johnson was shooting 28% from 3 the year before. Last year, he ended up shooting around 35, 36%. Everybody has been, Murray got here career year shooting threes under Quinn Snyder. So I will give credit where it's due. And I'm hoping that Quinn Snyder and Cal Corver can work on Dyson Daniels 3-point shooting. I expect him. He averaged 5 points last year. I expect him to average with Trae Young probably, I would say, between 9 and 11 points this year. He's not really that fluid offensively yet. So I look at him, young player. You got EJ Liddell, who we had in summer league, but he's gone. We traded him to Phoenix. I think Phoenix released him. I think they cut him like the other day. And then we got the 27th pick, and then they had to send us something else to make the deal official, and they sent us Cody Zeller. I don't know why we just ain't bought this guy out. Cody Zeller been in the league. Yeah, he been in. I don't know why he's still on the roster. My mind's still blown. I was asking my friends, like, we just can't. The dude making $3 million, we just can't buy him out and put a younger player there. So when I say all that, and I'll say this. The return on Murray, not what I expected, but the return that he got, and I hate to do it, but I got to give Landry Fields credit. The return that he got fits what was needed on his team. Length. Oh, I forgot. And we got Larry Nance Jr. I keep forgetting Larry Nance. We got length on the wing with Larry Nance, who could maybe play a little bit of center for us if one of our guys go down. Length on the wing again with Dyson Daniels, who's listed as a point guard. 6'8". We need that length beside Trae Young. Great defender. The dude had an amazing Olympics. Um, uh, uh, Lakers unprotected pick this year, and that 27 pick. So everything that Landry Fields did get in return was stuff that we actually needed. It wasn't a bunch of just junk. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they make these deals, and you like, why'd you get this player? He don't fit nothing we got going on. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
So, after doing some soul searching, talking to everybody, calming down, because everybody know when it comes to the Hawks, man, I just react like this sometimes, and most of the time I be dead wrong. So then when I spin the block and I'm relaxed and calm and I look at stuff again, it was a good return. Shout out Landry Fields.
There was two players I wanted your assessment on, right? And you said that you think Kobe Buffkin may be starting this year, which I was a little bit surprised because he played a limited role last year. And then I wanted your thoughts on him. But first, Jalen Johnson took a huge step forward last year, and he became a really, really good player.
Mm-hmm.
You could expect him to take another because this is year 4 for him. I think is that right for Jalen Johnson?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he can take another step up and become, a borderline all-star caliber player, or do you think that this is kind of his max? And then, do you expect the same kind of jump up from Kobe Buffkin? Because he's definitely a guy with talent. So I wanted your thoughts on the progression and development of both those guys.
Jalen Johnson, Jalen Johnson got the talent to be anything he want to be, man. Like he has everything in the bag. With Murray gone, I expect Jalen Johnson to take another step. But once again, I don't know how Quinn Snyder, our coach, how they view everything. Because really Quinn Snyder wants us to just keep shooting all these threes and whatnot. So Trae Young and Jalen Johnson play so good together on the court. I think Jalen Johnson right now on our roster is probably the most, and I know some fans might get mad at me, but I think he's probably the most talented player on the roster. 6'9", athletic, can handle the basketball. Now he can shoot the three that he couldn't shoot 2 years ago. Now he can shoot the three. Now what I hope to see now, maybe a little bit more more of an inside game now. Which that will make him a 3-level score. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This will be his opportunity to finally crack that 20-point per game night. I'm looking at Jalen Johnson. Some Hawk fans are very high on Jalen Johnson. They'll tell you he gonna give you 25 next year.
The ability and the athleticism is there. Like that's why I'm asking: can he become a borderline all-star player? Can he take another step up like he did last year?
I see him. He'll go from 16 from last year. I think it was like 16.7. I could see him almost put about 20 between. I could see between 20 and 22 points a night. 7 rebounds, 5 assists from Jalen Johnson. He's going to have the opportunity this year. Last year, Quinn Snyder rotation, he would always take Jalen Johnson out when he took Trae Young out. This year, and then that was Murray would stay in the game. This year, I think when Trae comes out the game, if Quinn stick with that same rotation, when Trae come out in that first quarter usually around like the 7-minute mark, I expect Jalen Johnson to stay in the game and be like the primary ball handler. Even though we have other ball handlers, but I think that's where you're going to see him more of like in that point forward type role. Still got a little problem. What we haven't seen, and I meant to add this when I said mature his game a little bit. What we haven't seen as Hawks fans is we've seen Jalen Johnson bring the ball down in transition. What we haven't seen him is bring the ball down, setting up the offense in the half-court set. Now, if he get that down, then you almost looking at Apollo Banchero. You're looking at a young LeBron James, because he actually trains with LeBron James. He got some clips where he actually working out with LeBron. So he could be, man, like he could legit be an all-star this year. And I think this is his best opportunity. If not this year, next year. But I definitely could see him around. If I was betting money, I could see him around 19. I would bet 19 points a night easy. But like I said, some Hawk fans, they so high on him, they'll tell you 25. I won't deny it. I think the only thing that stopped that is, I mean, how the shots go. Because we still got Bogdanovich, who he is either number 2 or number 3 on our team in usage every year he's been here. So he's going to get shots up. So I just got to see if I got one thing about the Hawks, man. What I learned is, I got to see them play first, because on paper we can look amazing on paper. I thought we was amazing last year on paper, and I thought we was going to be a top 5 seed. And you saw what happened. You know, granted we had the injuries and whatnot. Now with Kobe Buffkin, his problem is this: he can't stay healthy. He was supposed to show us, I think the Hawks, he played a little bit of point guard in high school, a little bit in Michigan. And I think the Hawks want to try to see, can he play point guard at the NBA level. First year in Summer League, they tried to run him as a point guard, and they played him as a shooting guard, right? And obviously, some of the passes he made, you could see the vision. You could see the passes he was looking at. Timing was off, because obviously he was coming from the college level to the NBA level, you know, obviously the speed of the game. And him as a point guard wasn't too good. But like I said, he was a young rookie, first NBA action. This year, you know, I think they still want to do that. And we was all excited to see him in Summer League, but he got hurt in the last practice before the Hawks flew out to Vegas. So we didn't even get to see him in Summer League again. So, but like I said, it's some Hawk fans, they want Kobe to be a starting shooting guard. Would I be disappointed if we started him at shooting guard? No. I want us to play all the young players, give them all the minutes. But I think Kobe is a professional scorer. He can score the basketball. He can attack. He can finish at the rim. That is something that we have lacked. Excuse me. That is something that we have lacked for so long. A slasher, a guard similar to like a young Dwayne Wade, when he just attacked the basket all the time, because D Wade 6'4", and that's what we're missing. We haven't had that in years. So I'm excited to see Kobe Buffkin, man. But I don't know if they're gonna start him, man. Because one thing we do know that Quinn Snyder played NBA politics. So you know, with the veterans that we got on the team, I mean, I don't know how they're gonna run the minutes.
So the last thing I wanted to ask you was, and I ask every guest here, the over-under on the Nets win total this year was 19.5 wins, which is the lowest. It's the lowest projected win total that Vegas has put out since like 2014, 2015. So in about 10 years, it's the lowest projected win total. Over or under 19.5 wins for my Brooklyn Nets?
Over. No, hold on. Under. I forgot. Everybody going for Cooper Flag, man. But I forgot, according to the draft lottery, what is it? 1 through the bottom, 4 or 5 teams got like the same odds?
The bottom 3 teams all have the same odds, and then 4 is only slightly worse. So, but if you finish with the worst record, you're guaranteed one of the top 3 picks. Now it could be 1, 2, or 3.
Oh yeah,
but you'd get either. You'd be at that point. You'd get either Flag, Ace Bailey, or Harper. You'd be guaranteed one of the 3.
Hey, under 19. Under 19.
They're going all in on losing. My only concern is they got a rookie head coach in Jordy Fernandez, who a lot of people think really highly of. He's trying to build a reputation. is he going to want to coach a team? Like, is he going to be in with the tank, or is he going to go out and try to win as many games as he can to build his reputation as a coach, right? Like, if you had a coach like Quinn Snyder or Popovich, they've already established themselves as winners.
Right.
You have a rookie head coach now. Does he really want to have an 18-64 season? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to look bad on his resume.
Yeah, he's going to want to have that. You know why he's going to want to have it?
To get Cooper Flag. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the front office is backing it.
Yeah.
As long as your front office is, they went and got a rookie head coach for a reason. It's a reason you go get a rookie head coach. So he can learn on the go too. He's learning how to be a NBA head coach, right? You have no stars on the team. There's no superstars on the Nets. Unless you want to count Ben Simmons. But minus Ben Simmons, there's no stars. Right?
He's paid like a superstar. Ben Simmons is
he definitely getting paid. He definitely look out for him to get moved at the deadline too for a pick. Shoot, if he come back and play a couple games, and he look all right.
Court, like, it's never been a question of his play. He's a positive player when he's on the court. It's just he doesn't on the court.
Well, he definitely going to be up here on this run the Cooper Flag season, but like I said, when you rebuilding, you go get that rookie head coach. Ain't no quality coach gonna come do it, because why would the quality coaches, once you get that star player, that star rookie.
I tried to explain this to fellow Net fans. We want Budenholzer. I'm like, they're not coming here. Like, you have to get either a coach from college or a hotshot assistant, and you were able to get Jordy Fernandez.
Yeah,
be happy with that, right? Like that. A lot of people think highly of him.
And that also gives the coach time to mold the team to, how he want the team to be. You know what I'm saying? That's why I expect y'all to get rid of Finney Smith, any other older players, Finney Smith, Simmons. I expect those players to be gone, because you want that coach to be able to coach. You want him to be able to put his fingerprints on this organization, on this team. And like I said, the front office want him to lose. So he ain't worried about winning. Now, I don't want to say it like that. He want to win, obviously, but he know that front office is not putting him in position to win. They're not going to put him in position to win, because Sean Marks probably going to be like, hey, even if, say the Nets did get off to like some hot start, right? Hey, that front office finna come down and say, hey, what we doing?
Yeah, we need to get these other guys. We need to get Killian Hayes more minutes now.
Hey, that's what they do, man. Like, players say it all the time on these podcasts. That's the best thing about these podcasts now, because like now all the things you would think of as a fan, these players, they be saying it. They be like, yeah.
Did you see Torian Prince told a story when he was on the Hawks and they were trying to tank, and he hit a game winner and he's going nuts, and the coaches are all looking at him like, we didn't need that.
And it's just like the one with Jeff T. When T came back to Atlanta, and we had we'd already had Trey. And I remember Jeff Teague said that Lloyd Pierce, who was a rookie head coach for us, he told no, this was his second year, my bad. He told Jeff Teague, he said, listen, you're only playing 18 minutes tonight. He said, we don't care if you go out there and you score 40 in the first quarter. At the 18-minute mark, you're done. Because they want to get Trey Young all the minutes and whatnot. So it's kind of funny now that, they're going to let him know, hey, slow it down. Go and play this guy right here, man. Play this guy for his development so we can get back in this Cooper Flag
we gotta get
Bailey race. Yeah, but I got y'all under.
I think I think one of two things are going to happen. It's either going to be an epically bad season and they're going to get one of those top picks, like they're going to win like 14 games or 12 games, like it's going to be brutal, or it's going to look like last year and like they're going to like be kind of in no man's land where they're not in contention for a top 3 pick, but they're also not going to make the play-in. Like they're just, a 32-win team and they get the 9th pick in the draft. It's like,
Now what would suck is if y'all did win like 15 games. Oh no, that's right. You said if you finish bottom 3,
you're bottom 1, the worst record, you're guaranteed one of the top 3 picks, right? So I know Washington's going to be in the mix for that
Oh,
record too.
They worse than y'all.
You think so?
Talent wise, they way worse than y'all. They got a number 2 overall pick who went 0-15, man. And I used to
they
campaign.
Can't get it right. They just can't get it right.
I was campaigning for us to draft this kid, man. I was like, man, I'm glad the Hawks didn't listen to me, man. I was dead wrong. I was like, thank you, Jesus.
But before I let you go, the rookie, first overall pick. What were your thoughts when you won the lottery and then Richesay? What are your kind of preliminary thoughts on him?
I didn't even. I'm all about winning, so I wasn't even looking at like the lottery picks, none of these dudes until we actually got eliminated by Chicago in that play-in. Then me and some fans on the homies on We Talk Hawks TV, we was looking at players like in the 10 and up range. Cause I was like, there's no way we gonna get a top 5 pick, man. We never end up getting it, blah, 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 blah. So actually I was in where was we at? I was actually in Vegas at the time of the draft. I mean the draft lottery. And I wasn't even gonna do a show, but my boy Larry was like, "Hey, Demond, do a show for the draft." I said, "You know what? All right." I whipped out the laptop. So since I was in the hotel, the internet there was kind of slow, and so my boy Larry was ahead of me. So we on the show at the same time. If you go to the channel, you'll see it. We on the show, but he was ahead of me. His stream was ahead of me, and let me tell you something, G. When we got past number 10, hey, man, I'll start getting. So I was like, we made it past 10? Because Larry he was telling me, but then I'll be like, hold up, don't tell me, Larry. Don't tell me what you just saw. And then I'll be like, no, go ahead and tell me. Man, we got past 10. And I was like, watch they give us something like 8 or 7. When we got to 5 and they didn't call us, I was like, no way. When we got to them last 2 picks and we won that lottery, even though it was no Ant-Man, it was no AD, Karl Anthony Towns, whatever, the high no Cooper flag, just the fact that we have never had the number 1 overall pick in Atlanta. When we got that pick, I was so excited. I think that's mainly why I jumped on the SAR bandwagon. Because I really don't know, because I never thought we was going to get none of those guys. So I ain't look at them or nothing. Yeah. As soon as we saw it, I just top prospects in 2024. SAR. I was like, oh, go get him. We can get him. Before I even looked at any of his tape or nothing, man. But with Zach, man, everybody know I wasn't a fan of Zach Richesay, man. I used to call him Worcestershire sauce when we talking about him and stuff. I wasn't a fan. But I'm one of those fans. Once you become a Hawk, then I support you. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see. One thing I did notice about Zachary Richesay is when we drafted him, he genuinely wants to be in Atlanta. Well, he genuinely wants to be in the NBA. And it's you don't really see that with like and I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it. Like some of our young American players, they feel like, I feel like with some of the young American players, they feel like, they're entitled. I should be number 1. And I don't want to make that sound like a negative, because I do know how you got to have that type of attitude at that professional level. But with Zachary Richesay, him being 19, like he really, when we drafted him, he smiled like he really was just a 19. Well, to us, 19, you a child. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He smiled and looked like a kid on Christmas. I was like, wow, that's very refreshing to see, man. And he done the interviews. He's trying to work on his English, and he doing the interviews in English. Matter of fact, me and my son rode out to Vegas for summer league to see him play his first NBA game, and he had 18 his first game.
There you go.
He could shoot. He ain't scared to shoot. He'll shoot from anywhere. He'll shoot any shot. Because some of the shots he was shooting, I was like, man, the audacity. He just letting it go. So I believe with Trey Young, man, like he's gonna get so many opportunities, and he's tall. For one thing about the Hawks, if you looked at us, man, you would know we never. I can't remember the last time we had these many wings that's all 6'7", 6'8", and above. Usually we undersized almost in every position. So it's good to have a guy like that on the team, man. And I mean, I could see him winning Rookie of the Year. I really could.
First overall pick. I mean, that's what you want. You're hoping, and you're saying he looks like he's NBA ready. He's not going to have to, sit. He can get out there and be productive. You look at the Hawks. You look at what they have. There's a lot of young talent there, and then you have Ice Trey leading the show. Jalen Johnson, we both think potentially could be an all-star. It's you're not going to compete for a title. You're not the Celtics or the Bucks or the Knicks, but you can be with any other group of teams in the outside of the top few teams in the East. You look at the roster; it's deep. You got bench guys, and you got guys at the top who can score. It's not a bad roster. Like it's not a championship roster, but it's not a bad roster either. This is a playoff team, I think.
Yeah, through the play-in.
Through the play-in, for sure, yeah.
We're not going to be a top. I wouldn't put money that we're going to be a top 6 seed.
6 is going to be tough, but 7, 8, 9, 10, it's a play. All right, unless, it's a play-in team, yeah.
Maybe an Orlando, maybe a Cleveland. I don't know. Maybe they come up on some injuries or something. Philly. Maybe Embiid gets injured like they did last year and they tumbled all the way down. Maybe I know they added Paul George, but maybe he missed some games. So I think, like I told everybody, I believe we're an 8 to 10 seed team if I'm betting money, right? Okay. This year, all I'm about is, and they already know my motto for the team this year: play hard, get better. Because I'm one of the older fans. I'm all about championship now. Like I've been with this team too long. I don't care about a playoff. I don't care that stuff is good, but it don't get me excited, right? But I do understand when you have a young team, obviously you got to take certain steps. But we got a Trey Young, we got a superstar in Trey Young, man. So, like I said, 8 to 10 seed. Unless now, if Jalen Johnson can give us instead of 20, 22, 24, yeah. Maybe that's a different that's a different ball game, right? But like I said, if I'm betting money, 8 to 10 seed team play in, yeah, 8 to 10th, make it to the play in. I really want us to make the playoffs too, because I really want the Spurs, because they got our pick this year. I really don't want them picking in the lottery off our pick. So I hope we make the playoffs. But like I said, if I'm betting money, if we do, it's going to be through the play-in. I don't think on paper, I don't think we got better than any of the teams that finished better than we did last year, minus the Bulls, since they got rid of they was trying to clean house, but hell, who knows now? Maybe Zach LaVine come back on a warpath since nobody wanted him in the trade market. They got Lonzo Ball back, but I mean they really don't need Lonzo Ball because they got Kobe White and others. So
yeah, I just assumed Chicago was going to tank this year.
Well, I think because they moved DeRozan left.
They moved DeRozan. Yeah, DeRozan's gone,
but they still kept Vucevic.
They for now. I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, for now. Yeah, for now. So, I mean, I like our young players. That's why I was telling fans, I said, play the young players, play them, because we're going to need these guys to contribute, and we got a good bench too. The only problem is it's a young bench. I want young draft picks, Muhammad Gay, Garrison Matthews, Vic Krejci. So I mean, none of those guys are proven like obviously none of them all stars. So I mean, all these players that we have on the bench still got to prove themselves. And like I said, I still don't know who coming off the bench. Are they going to have Bogdanovich coming off the bench? Are they going to have Dre Hunter coming off the bench? If that's the case, then our bench is even more solid then, because you got a scoring bogey whose value is at an all-time high right now for what he did in the Olympics. So he was hooping in the Olympics. So, I mean, like I said, betting the money 8 to 10th. I hope we make the playoffs. If we do, I think it's going to be through the play-in.
I would say I would agree with that. I mean, the East, the top teams are heavy. The top teams are really good. It looks like a play-in team. You're probably right, 8, 9, 10, probably. And then you get to the play-in, who knows, right? Like,
anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
That's how we got to the conference finals.
That's right. You were a 5 seed that year, or?
Yeah, actually, when we fired at the All-Star break, when we fired Lloyd Pierce and Amy Miller took over, we was actually 7 games under 500 at the break.
Wow, I forgot. You're right. Yeah.
Yep, and then we went on a 20. We finished the season, the second half, 27-11, which took us to the 5th seed.
There you go.
So anything, and then we got the playoffs, and
you got the Knicks. Yeah,
that was.
Then Ben Simmons. You got an assist from Ben Simmons who refused to dunk the ball.
Yeah.
The Nets Nation still plays that clip when Simmons just won't dunk it. It's like
he didn't dunk it.
He's got Gallinari behind him, but Gallinari's not going to block it, right? It's like
nope.
You're 6'10", just dunk it, bro, and passing it.
He passed it, and the dude missed the free throws. People don't talk about that part.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Well, Ben Simmons was so. I think Ben Simmons was so afraid of being fouled by Gallinari from behind that he didn't want to go to the line. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
All right, Damon, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for staying almost an hour with me. I appreciate it. Once again, tell everyone where they can find you.
Hey, we on We Talk Hawks TV, man. Come hang out with us, man. Hey, we have fun. We be having all type of fans in there too. We got people from the Heat, the Raptors. They come through. Because also sometimes we'll let fans of other teams come on our panel, because I like to hear from the outside. You know what I'm saying? I like to see the fans from the outside give their opinions on the Hawks, because sometimes they'll tell me stuff that I ain't even paying attention to. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all come through, man. We Talk Hawks TV, man. The interactive fan channel for all fans of the Atlanta Hawks, man. Come through, come holler. We welcome all.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you, G.
I'll see you again throughout the season. Hopefully we can have you on again. I mean, the Nets will be making the playoffs, so it's not like we're going to see you in the play-in or the playoffs, but hopefully I catch up with you again during the season.
Yeah, I'm free anytime, man, for you, dog.
I appreciate it.
All right, man.